Just 2 more ship parts to go, and unfortunately, it's going to take me at least 2 days to get them. Alright, well, let's just pick up this last part. Let's go, my blue army! I should be able to break down that gate pretty fast with a full squad here. And if we check the map, right, yeah, I already have a squad 100, so I know there's not any sprouts waiting for me. I haven't had too many, so you can see those tear grubs breaking the bridge, but I don't really care about that bridge anymore, so... So you don't technically need boost to break down this gate because you can actually use this bridge to walk around here, throw your Pikmin over that side, and then lead them all the way over here, which might be a bit of a pain to do because I imagine they'd keep getting latched onto the ship part, but it's still an option if you wanted to kind of double task while you're getting the other ship part that used to be over there. It's my zirconium rotor. This is made from rust-proof zirconium, which is particularly suited to making spaceship parts. I had to pay a lot extra to have this installed, and I suspect the mechanic overcharged me. Well, there we go. It's the last ship part. The way is clear. We just have to wait for it to walk back. And apparently I have a bunch of blues that got stuck on various parts of the terrain. Yeah, because of like all the roots and stuff in this area, it is kind of easy for your Pikmin to get stuck in here. But well, whatever. Oh my gosh, what is up with this bridge? I've never had this much trouble with it before. Something about this version, I guess. Zirconium rotor, made of rust-proof zirconium. It is as shiny as new, despite being left out in this planet's harsh elements. I've recovered 20 now out of 30 parts, increasing the dolphin's capabilities. My search can now cover a wider area. Yep, so the rest of this day is just gonna be raising numbers and getting flowers, pretty much. So, yeah, I'm just gonna cut that out because I don't suspect anything really can happen at this point. Alright, honestly, I think I'm just gonna call it good here for today because I've cleared out like everything on the land in the previous days, and their corpses don't stay around, and while enemies do respawn, it takes a couple days usually. So there were just a couple of beetles which I gave to the yellows, and then I made sure to get like 100 reds flowered up and probably 50 at least yellows flowered up, and most of my blues as well. Well, the almost 100 blues anyway. So honestly, I think that's fine. I do have enough Pikmin. There are some enemies that were still alive in the water, but it's mostly just like water dumples, and I'd probably end up losing blues just killing those and then getting them. So I figure, like, I really don't need the numbers anyway, so I may as well just go to Sunset and continue on to the final area. 15 days since impact. At last, but a single part remains. Since I've recovered 29 of the missing parts, the dolphin's power is near capacity. In the forest steps below, I see a region where the final part must lie. Clearly, this is my final trial. My life support fails in 15 days. Courage! And here we go to the final trial. And you'll notice as we fall over, a nice meteor shower starts up, which is nice. And then it kind of dies away as you go anywhere else. So it's only there like the first time you start the final trial, I guess. Anyway, looking at the ship's log, obviously there are 30 days. And you do get a voyage log after every single day. And as you might have been able to tell from some of the logs I got, it's not the same logs every single day. The entries you get depend a little bit on what happened. And then there's like a bunch of filler ones for if like nothing happens. Like if you never explode a Pikmin with bomb rocks, you'll never get that log. And it also kind of changes depending on how much you've done and how many days you have left. So I think he gets like extremely frantic and stuff if you're missing a lot of ship parts, but you only have like 1 or 2 days left. Which, you know, makes sense. So there are a lot of logs, and I don't know how many there are in total, but there are definitely more than 30 ship's logs. So if there are any other favorites I can think of or scrounge up, then maybe I'll show those off, but I'm not going to like ground out all of them or anything. If you really want to know all the lore and stuff, you can go in there. You get a pretty good insight into Olimar's home life and just Olimar himself. From the logs, it's honestly one of my favorite parts of the game. In addition to just general gameplay tips and stuff. So there's good things in there. But going into the final area, there is only one ship part, but I would recommend having at least 2 days. I mean, I know it's not entirely something you can control, but if you only have day 29, or if you only have day 30, getting the last part in this area is pretty tight. Fortunately, the part in this area is one of the 5 optional ones. But we're gonna try and get through it really quick. I don't even know if I'll do it in 1 day because historically I don't do this area in 1 day. It's usually 1 day of setup and then 1 day of, well, actually getting the part. So, but I will try my best. Okay, starting off, you're going to want a little bit of each color. You definitely want yellows, which I know is weird because normally you don't actually want a bunch of yellows. I'm still going to try and stick to 20, but it might be worthwhile, especially if it's your first time playing this game, to get more than that. And after that point, we're actually gonna mostly just have reds. And for now we will take some blues because obviously you have to have them for this. So the first thing we're gonna do is throw our yellows over here. All of them, thank you. Okay. Then we're gonna throw some of our reds over here. We don't actually need all of them, so... Actually, I'm gonna work on maybe this bridge first. I think I can throw my yellows from there over here, so... Okay, yep, sure, fight that. So, yeah, they've given up now. I'll let them just kind of slowly handle this. These bridges. We do need to do everything here. This entire section is basically just like one big environmental puzzle. So the sooner you can finish those, the faster you can get into collecting the final ship part. We probably only need like 10 reds in there, so I'm only gonna throw about that arbitrary amount. So obviously it takes a lot of time to throw stuff over. Okay. Hit the geyser, thank you, okay. Now, as you can see, there is one of the rock walls, so we do want to get some bomb rocks here. Alright, are you all good and collected, all of you, I think? Okay. I'm gonna take one of my regular ones and just make sure I can make it over there. I don't know that this throw is actually possible in the GameCube version. I don't know that I've ever tried it before. Okay, yeah, I saw that starting to happen. That's my bad. I was like, oh, that's not actually that great of an idea. So we're just gonna... Whew! Oh, goodness. Oh, that was a bit spicy. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and leave these here now. You guys can work on the bridge, that's fine. And you guys, I should be able to maneuver over this way. And then I'm gonna move away from them so they hopefully won't try to come to me after the wall is done, because they will drown. Yeah, okay, we're good. Now that this bridge is done, we're gonna start putting away our blues because they will be useless to us now. And eventually we are going to replace them with reds. Then replace that one yellow I accidentally killed too. And this should finish pretty much instantly now that I have that many Pikmin on it. There we go. Now we're gonna let everything that's not blue go ahead and handle this gate. And then we're gonna go put these back. They're already done. Perfect. Okay. I think we're actually going to replace half of them with yellow. And there we go. I think that should be enough. Gonna take these extra bomb rocks, they are appreciated. And then we're going to take this whole squad of 100 and we are going to hug this wall. You do not want to approach the center, not yet. So we're gonna let these guys pretty much instantly break down the gate. And we're already through, less than halfway through the day. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is load up the rest of our yellows with these nice fancy pants bombs rocks here. Because trust me, we definitely want a lot of bomb rocks. Alright, and I believe that should be all of our yellows bomb rocked. Now this outer ring here, this is the safe area. Everywhere outside of this, in that sandpit circle there, is not safe. So I'm going to take just Olimar and show you just what we're dealing with here. This is Emperor Bulblax. He's going to try and eat everyone, and honestly, we're kind of gonna let him. Kind of. We don't want to take all of our reds because that's going to be too many, but... Okay, 50's probably okay. Alright, so... this big guy, again, he likes to eat Pikmin, so what you want to do is try and throw a yellow kind of as he's sticking his... a bomb rock, I mean. Kind of as he's like trying to stick his tongue out to eat us. It's a bit tricky to do, especially if you don't want to just sacrifice your yellow. Because again, if you just like... if an enemy eats your bomb rocks, then they still get exploded. Come on. Let's try and get this going. So you can like throw this yellow like straight into his tongue. And explode him that way. I didn't quite manage to do it. I don't actually want like a ton of bomb rocks. I like to keep them here like banked so that they're safe. Okay, come on, I gotta figure out the timing on this. So, looky here. There we go. Oh, it didn't land in his mouth. The yellow threw it, but it didn't land in his mouth. Okay. Okay, come on. Yeah, you see that one's gonna get eaten. If you're good at knowing like where and when to throw them, you can usually not end up sacking the yellow. But once he gets back up, you'll want to call your Pikmin off. Before he gets a nice big tasty treat of them. It's a little sad, but sacking the yellows is honestly one of the more reliable ways to even deal with this guy. I do think you can accomplish quite a bit if you can manage to... Okay, there goes that red. If you can manage to... If the yellow manages to throw the bomb rack in his mouth. Without getting eaten itself. I think my Joy-Cons are disconnecting a little bit. Fortunately, he's aggroing onto me and not like my bomb rocks. Did he kill something? Yeah, you don't want him throwing bomb rocks like not in his mouth because it doesn't really do anything. Obviously that back green hide there is pretty much immune to damage. So you have to throw him on his face. He doesn't stay stunned for long. Not this way anyways. I think he might stay stunned for longer if he just eats the bomb and not both the Pikmin and the bomb. But that is a hard thing to time, so... There we go. See, like, his big fat tongue smacks him in the face if that happens. And he's just kind of sunk. See, like, how much longer I could actually throw my entire squad of Pikmin up there. Now this is what I mean by the safety area. This guy has jumps for days. So, yeah, I thought he was done jumping. He was not. So you're gonna have to wait now until he's drooling. That's how you know he's about to eat. Then you can try and throw the bomb rock in his mouth. We're gonna just try and get him. Come on. Oh no. Oh, I got greedy. Yeah, so he's gonna do 3 big jumps now, and it's going to kill a bunch of Pikmin if you get greedy like I do and just try to kill him without stunning him. So be mindful of that. So we're gonna let him drool. You take that. I do want to try and kill him before time runs out so we can... Yeah, there we go. Now, as much as it kind of sucks. I do have to come back just to collect the part the next day, and I don't even get the prize pellets. Those pellets are worthless at this point. There's nothing else to get. So unless you wanted to try and raise up your numbers as much as possible, it's not going to do anything for you. Now, I did end up just sacking a bunch of Pikmin there at the end to try and kill him before the day ended. If you're better at the timing and the aiming, and you can get those long cycles, you can kill him pretty fast, probably in just like 2 cycles. 16 days since it packed. Fire should be a natural enemy of the Pikmin, but on closer examination I found red Pikmin to be impervious to it. It is fascinating. The reds continue through the flames, completely oblivious to any Pikmin burning around them. Yeah, so obviously we lost a lot of Pikmin in battle to my impatience, basically. But if you don't kill him in one day, he does come back with all his health. I'm pretty sure that he still has like all his health the next day. So it is nice to just like at this point, the Pikmin don't kind of don't matter too much. I hate letting them die, which is why I was trying for so long to not just sack the yellows. You just get out a whole squad here. I'll leave these behind, and then I will grab... Well, actually, I don't know that there's anything to collect here. I was thinking about just kind of upping the numbers so I can feel a little less bad about how many died from my impatience at the end there. But I don't think there's anything really to gather here. This is pretty much just this last puzzle and then this final battle against Emperor Bulblax. At long last, I found the final part, my secret safe, and it's as full as ever. How glad I am that I've persisted in my search without losing hope. Now I can leave this planet without any regrets. Maybe I'll even stop and pick up some souvenirs for my wife and kids back on planet Hocotate. So... yeah. So not only do you need to beat the boss, but you need to have at least 40 Pikmin left by the end of it. Obviously, if you're like me and had a lot of downtime at the end of areas, you will have more than enough for that. But the most you can do, I guess, is use these to change what color of Pikmin you have. So maybe if you just... oh, it plays the sinister music around Candy Pop Buds. I guess the game technically classifies this as an enemy. So obviously there's diegetic, or sorry, not diegetic. There's dynamic music in this game. So depending on where you are, what time of day it is, it plays different music. So if I'm buying the Pikmin working, no, I don't think there's a unique track for that, but there's a unique track for being around enemies. And there's another variation for towards the end of the day, which is pretty neat. I love it when games have dynamic music like that. I have finally recovered every ship part. Now I can finally return home to Hocotate. I just made that a little more repetitive than it actually is. And there's our final stats. Only 784 Pikmin sprouted, which feels like a low number after the numbers I've achieved in some of the other games especially. I lost 268 Pikmin, but 504 survived. 30 parts in 17 days, not too bad for someone who's pretty rusty, although you can definitely do much better. If you're curious on just how well you can do, I'm sure there's some world record speedruns that show that off. So, moving forward, you can see here, there's 30 ship parts. You'll notice that 5 of them have blue names. If I am correct, those 5 are the optional ship parts. You do not need to gather those 5 in order to finish the game. And depending on how many ship parts you gather and whether if you don't gather all 25 of the ship parts, you do get a different ending to the game once the 30 days are up. If you gather the 25 ship parts but not the 5 optional ones, I believe that's also a different ending than the one we just got for getting all of 30 ship parts within the 30 days. And that's the end credits. Yeah, that's the whole game. Except for challenge mode, which I will probably cover in its own episode or two, depending on how long it takes. Honestly, I've never done it before, so I'm not sure. This was a cute, short and sweet game that released all the way back on the GameCube. It was, I believe, a launch title, or very close to it at the very least. And it kind of partially spawned just from kind of showing off the GameCube's technical prowess, which at the time was kind of impressive. Being able to have 100 of those little entities on screen and not causing any problems was kind of a big deal. Honestly, the ideas and everything that on how Pikmin came to be, there's a lot more to it than just wanting to have 100 things on screen at once. And it is pretty interesting to read about. It is... So I would highly recommend looking into that if you don't already know about it. Obviously, as I said at the beginning, I have always loved the Pikmin series. I grew up playing this game and its sequel pretty much ad nauseum. I probably played at least partially through them once a year pretty much my entire childhood. It's always had a special place in my heart. I've always loved nature and everything, and Olimar obviously has a huge respect for the ecology of this planet and a deep fascination with it, which is something I've always really been interested in myself. That's the sort of thing I love. I love learning about wildlife and how they survive and everything. Here we have a roll call of all the enemies, by the way. The armored cannon beetle never had a chance against me. I love this, by the way. I love getting to see the names of all the enemies and everything, and I feel like it goes along really well with what I was just saying about Olimar having a pretty big interest in all of the wildlife and everything. I feel like this border here, around this screen, is actually new. I don't think this was in the original. I think it was just this middle part here. Oh, the burrowing snaggerite. Oh, they can be tricky in this game. There's the candy pop bud. So I do have plans to play through the entire series on the channel at some point. I'm gonna space out different games a bit, so it'll probably be a little while before I play the second game. I'm not sure how long. As you may have noticed, there are some neat little things about the ending scene. There, you saw many different colors on the inside, which obviously implies there are more than 3 colors. I'm sure most people watching this already knows this, but future games do indeed introduce more colors of Pikmin that have their own unique abilities and stuff, so that do help change up the gameplay quite a bit. I do think it's worthwhile to play through the entire series at some point, or at least 3 of the games. Some people like to skip 2 because it can get stressful. But since I grew up with it, honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. But I do understand where people are coming from. But that's Pikmin 2. We're talking about Pikmin 1 here. So the day time limit is something that's mostly unique to this entry. Only having 30 days to collect 30 parts is not something that continues in the future. Pikmin 3 does have a bit of a time limit, but it works differently. And it's pretty generous from my understanding. So the actual time limit doesn't really feel so strong in that game. But honestly, the aspect of Olimar being stranded on this planet alone, learning about it and trying to get back home, that isolation and the feeling of both despair and hope he goes through, as well as the fact that you really get to hear his inner voice from the ship's logs and stuff, is part of what I really love about the first game specifically, that future entries don't have, at least not in the same way. You can still see a lot of what Olimar is thinking and find out more about his past and other characters' pasts from the logs that are in those games, but this is the only game where you're truly isolated like this, and where the planet is truly this big unknown thing, and that atmosphere is just unique to this game in the series, and it's one of my favorite parts of it, honestly. I also love just how gosh, this thing. Yeah, I also just love how pretty much infinitely replayable this is. There's just so much of an element of trying to do better and better each time you play and really perfecting it. I remember the first time I finished this game, I think I was on like day 28 or something like that. So there's just like so much room, just so much wiggle room for improvement. You can always go back and just try for a better score, a better thing. And there's also just like a bunch of like self-imposed challenges you can add onto this. I know the Pikmin community likes to come up with those and how to do them, which probably works a bit better in some of the future games because there's more you can control in the future games than in this one. But this is still a very fantastic start. Obviously the AI has a lot of troubles, and honestly they don't like make it super great until the third game. It's still kind of rough in the second one, and there's some weird kind of glitchy things even in the original GameCube version, not just this version or the Wii version, that oh, that's a cute little splash screen there. Cute little ending screen. Those don't get ironed out a lot in the future. But I find this game is still a lot of fun to play, even so. So yeah, that brings us back to the title screen. Next time I suppose we'll tackle challenge mode, and then that'll be it for this game. So I'm so glad I could share it with the world. I mean, not that it's super unknown or anything. This isn't like a super obscure game. I do think it's been underappreciated. I feel like Pikmin 4 coming out was the first time I saw the series having any sort of relatively widespread renown, I guess. But, you know, if anyone else learns of this series from this video series somehow, not from any of the other media about it. Well, I don't know. I'm just glad to potentially help people find out about what could be their new one of their new favorite series. Or not, I don't know. But still, at least I could play it.